It was the series that introduced the charming mystery-solving duo, Jonathan and Jennifer Hart, a husband and wife team who captivated audiences from 1979 to 1984. Due to their immense popularity, this glamorous couple returned for 8 made-for-TV movies that aired from 1993 to 1996. Off-screen, stars Robert Wagner and Stefanie Powers shared a close bond, and even decades after Heart to Heart first aired, their friendship remains strong. Let's find out what the main cast of Heart to Heart is up to these days. Robert Wagner as Jonathan Hart. Wagner's third successful TV series was Heart to Heart, which co-starred Stefanie Powers and Lionel Stander. It aired on ABC TV from 1979 to 1984. Wagner developed an interest in acting and, after an unsuccessful screen test directed by Fred Zinnemann for his film Teresa, 1951, he was represented by Albert R. Broccoli. He made his uncredited film debut in The Happy Years, 1950, then was signed by agent Henry Wilson and secured a contract with 20th Century Fox. Wagner first gained significant recognition with a notable role as a shell-shocked soldier in With a Song in My Heart, 1952. 20th Century Studios began to offer him better roles. He played the romantic male lead in Stars and Stripes Forever, 1952, a biopic about John Philip Sousa starring Clifton Webb. He supported James Cagney and Dan Daly in John Ford's adaptation of What Price Glory, 1952, and appeared alongside Webb again in Titanic, 1953. He also had a role in the minor western The Silver Whip, 1953, with Rory Calhoun. After his first marriage to Wood ended, Wagner moved to Europe. He had a small role in The Longest Day, 1962, produced by Daryl Zanuck for Fox, and a larger part in The Condemned of Altona, 1962, which, despite being directed by Vittorio De Sica and co-starring Sophia Loren, was a commercial and critical disappointment. More successful was The Pink Panther, 1963, a major hit, although Wagner's role was secondary to those of David Niven, Capucine, Peter Sellers, and Claudia Cardinale. Blake Edwards directed the film and wanted Wagner for the lead in The Great Race, 1965, but Jack L. Warner overruled him. Wagner became a grandfather for the first time in 2006, when his daughter Katie Wagner, with Marshall, gave birth to her son Riley John Wagner Lewis. In 2007, Wagner and St. John sold their Brentwood ranchette, where they had lived since 1983, for a reported $14 million. The couple now resides in Aspen, Colorado, where they built a vacation home in 1995, and they also retain a condo in Los Angeles. Lionel Stander as Max. After spending 15 years abroad, Stander returned to the U.S. for the role that he is most renowned for. Max, the devoted butler, cook, and chauffeur to the wealthy amateur detectives Jonathan and Jennifer Hart, played by Robert Wagner and Stefanie Powers, in the TV series Heart to Heart from 1979 to 1984. In 1982, Stander won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor, series, miniseries, or television film. Stander's acting career began in 1928 at the Provincetown Playhouse, where he played cop and first fairy in Him by E. E. Cummings. He claimed he got the part because it involved shooting craps, a skill he excelled at, and a friend in the company recommended him. Throughout the early 1930s, he appeared in several short-lived plays, including The House Beautiful, which Dorothy Parker famously called the lousy play. Like many stage actors based in New York, Stander found additional work in short films made in the city. He signed with Vitaphone and appeared, without screen credits, in the two-reel comedy In the Dough, 1933, alongside Roscoe Arbuckle and Shemp Howard. He acted in several other Vitaphone comedies, usually as a comic tough guy, villain, or authority figure. His last Vitaphone short was The Old Gray Mare, 1935, with Bob Hope. That same year, he was cast in a feature film, Ben Hecht's The Scoundrel, 1935, with Noel Coward. Stander had a supporting role in the TV movie Revenge is My Destiny with Chris Robinson. He portrayed a lounge comic modeled after the real-life Las Vegas comedian Joe E. Louis, who began his act by announcing post time while sipping his ever-present drink. In 1986, he lent his voice to the character Cup in The Transformers: The Movie. In 1991, he guest-starred in the television series Dream On, playing Uncle Pat in the episode Toby or Not Toby. His final film role was as a dying hospital patient in The Last Good Time, 1994, with Armin Mueller-Stahl and Olivia Dabo, directed by Bob Balaban. Stander passed away from lung cancer in Los Angeles, California in 1994 at the age of 86. Lyman Ward as a Lieutenant Draper. Lyman Ward portrayed Lieutenant Draper in the series. Born and raised in St. John, New Brunswick, Ward graduated from St. Malachy's Memorial High School in 1959 and from St. Thomas University in 1963, when it was located in Miramichi, New Brunswick, before relocating to Fredericton in 1964. He appeared in the first episode of Laverne and Shirley as Tad Schatz, but is best known for playing Ferris Bueller's father in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 1986. In 1990, Ward was cast as Jim Walsh in the pilot for Beverly Hills 90210. However, producers later recast the role, and his scenes were cut and reshot with James Eckhouse. In 2001, he made a cameo in Not Another Teen Movie as Mr. Weiler, parodying his role in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ward also had a minor role in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 1987, as John, one of the marketers. In 1985, Lyman Ward lived with Second City actor Sandra Bogan. He met Cindy Pickett on the set of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where they played the parents of the teenage protagonist. They married in real life, had 2 children, and later divorced shortly after playing the parents in the 1992 film Sleepwalkers. In 2016, Ward published a novel titled Fortune's Tide, a historical fiction set in his hometown of St. John. He continues to act in both films and television. Jim McMullen as Larry Fields. Jim McMullen played Larry Fields in the series. Born in Long Beach, Long Island, he traveled to Hollywood in 1961 to visit a friend. By chance, he met playwright William Inge, who arranged a screen test for Sam Peckinpah's Ride the High Country, 1962, directed by Peckinpah himself. The test was sent to Universal Pictures, which signed him to a 7-year contract, marking the beginning of a successful 30-year film career. In 1962, McMullen appeared as Jess Kroger on the TV western The Virginian in the episode titled Impasse. McMullen starred as John Moore in the short-lived CBS TV series Beyond Westworld and as Officer Don Burdick in the series Chopper 1. He co-starred in numerous notable TV series including The Alfred Hitchcock Hour, Dr. Kildare, The Time Tunnel, Heart to Heart, Cannon, SWAT, Barnaby Jones, The Fall Guy, Daniel Boone, and Baywatch. He guest-starred in over 150 TV shows, including MacGyver, Doogie Howser, M.D., The $6 Million Man, The Rockford Files, The Young and the Restless, The A-Team, and the made-for-TV movie The Taking of Flight, 847, The Uli Derrickson Story, 1988. McMullen's many feature film credits include The Raiders, 1963, where he played Buffalo Bill Cody, Shenandoah, 1965, The Happiest Millionaire, 1967, Downhill Racer, 1969, Pursuit, 1972, Extreme Close-Up, 1973, The Incredible Shrinking Woman, 1981, Assassination, 1987, Strategic Command, 1997, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, 1997, and Batman and Robin, 1997. McMullen passed away from ALS on May 31, 2019 at his home in Wofford Heights, California. Lee Wilkoff as Stanley Friesen. Lee Wilkoff portrayed Stanley Friesen in the series. Hailing from Canton, Ohio, Wilkoff is the middle child of Anne Louise and Darwin Wilkoff, with 2 brothers, Todd and Robert. He graduated from the University of Cincinnati in 1972 and later studied acting with Austin Pendleton in New York City. After college, Wilkoff co-wrote and performed in a comedy revue, The Present Tense, in 1977 at the Park Royal Theater in New York City. Shortly after the show's closure, he moved to Los Angeles and secured small roles in film and television. His breakthrough came in 1982 when he played the lead role of Seymour in the original off-Broadway production of Little Shop of Horrors. Wilkoff directed the film No Pay Nudity, which stars Nathan Lane, Gabriel Byrne, and Francis Conroy. In 2023, he made his debut at the Metropolitan Opera in Terence Blanchard's Champion, playing the announcer. Wilkoff is a banjo player and sings in the musical quartet 20 Mule Team Weiner Train. He won the New Yorker Cartoon Caption Contest, Boxer 217. Wilkoff resides in Gardner, New York, with his wife, painter Connie Grappo. They have a daughter, Perry, who is a renowned baker living in Columbus, Ohio. Diagnosed with stage 2 throat cancer in 2020, Wilkoff is now cancer-free. Gregory Sierra as Eduardo. Gregory Sierra played Eduardo in the series. He began his career on stage, touring with the National Shakespeare Company, and in 1967, he appeared as the Duke of Austria in King John at the New York Shakespeare Festival. Later in the 1960s, he moved to Los Angeles to work in film and television. Sierra's film credits include The Flying Nun, 1969, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, 1970, Papillon, 1973, The Towering Inferno, 1974, The Prisoner of Zenda, 1979, and The Trouble with Spies, 1987. From 1972 to 1975, he had the recurring role of Julio Fuentes, a Puerto Rican neighbor of the Sanfords on Sanford and Son. He then spent 2 years as part of the ensemble cast of Barney Miller, playing Detective Sergeant Chano Amengual. He starred as Dr. Tony Menzies in the short-lived 1977 sitcom AES Hudson Street. In 1980 and 1981, for the fourth and unresolved final season of the soap opera parody Soap, he played Latin American revolutionary Carlos El Puerco Valdez, Jessica Tate's lover. In 1984, he was cast as Lieutenant Lou Rodriguez in Miami Vice, but requested to be written out after 4 episodes, not wanting to live in Miami where the show was filmed, as mentioned in the Season 1 DVD commentary. He was replaced by Edward James Olmos, who played Lieutenant Martin Castillo. Sierra had regular roles on the TV shows Zorro and Son, 1983, and Something Is Out There, 1988-1989. Sierra was of Puerto Rican descent. He married Eileen DeFelita in 1969, and they divorced in 1972. In 1976, he married Susan Pollock, who remained his wife until her suicide in 1978. He later lived in Laguna Woods, California, with his wife, Helen Tabor. Sierra passed away on January 4, 2021, at the age of 83, after a long battle with stomach and liver cancer. John Riley as Billingsley. John Riley played Billingsley in the series. Born in Chicago, Illinois, Riley began his acting career in the mid-1960s with guest roles on Death Valley Days, Apple's Way, and Gunsmoke. In 1974, he replaced John Kohlenbach as Dr. Dan Stewart on As the World Turns. After a 2.5-year run, he left As the World Turns in September 1976 and was replaced by his predecessor, John Kohlenbach. On March 12, 1977, he appeared in an episode of The Mary Tyler Moore Show titled Lou Dates Mary. He also made 2 guest appearances on The Bionic Woman in 1977 and 1978, and had roles in the 1978 television movies Lassie: A New Beginning and Secrets of 3 Hungry Wives. In addition to television, Riley appeared in feature films including The Main Event, 1979, and Gorp, 1980. In 1983, Riley had a recurring role on the nighttime soap opera Dallas. The following year, he was cast as WSB agent Sean Donnelly on General Hospital. He remained with the series until November 1994, when he chose not to renew his contract due to a payout from then-executive producer Wendy Rich. His character was written out of the show in February 1995, when Sean and his on-screen wife Tiffany left town. He returned to daytime television as Del Douglas on Sunset Beach for a short-term guest role during the show's first 6 episodes, and later returned on various occasions from 1997 to 1999. On October 21, 2008, Riley reprised his role as Sean Donnelly on General Hospital Night Shift for the second season finale. On August 9, 2013, he reprised the role of Sean Donnelly on General Hospital for the show's 50th anniversary. On January 9, 2021, his daughter Caitlin announced via Instagram that her father had passed away the same day. The cause of death was a heart attack. He was survived by his wife Liz, 5 daughters, including Caitlin, who is also an actress and social media personality, and 2 grandchildren. Ethelreda Leopold as auction guest. Ethelreda Leopold portrayed an auction guest in the series. Hailing from Chicago, Leopold was skilled in piano playing and drawing. She attended St. Ignatius Grammar School and Sullivan High School. Leopold studied at the Chicago Art Institute before being discovered as an actress. She began acting at age 17 after a Warner Brothers scout saw her modeling teenage fashions, as reported by the New York Times. She joined the chorus line and won a popularity contest among 109 Busby Berkeley girls, leading to her inclusion in a promotional tour for Gold Diggers in Paris. H. Allen Smith documented her measurements and wrote about the tour. Leopold married Joseph Pine, and they had 1 child together. She passed away from pneumonia in North Hollywood on January 26, 1998. Richard B. Shull as Lieutenant Gillis. Richard B. Shull played Lieutenant Gillis in the series. His first major break as an actor came when he was cast in Minnie's Boys in 1970. Additional theater credits include Good Time Charlie, where he performed the duet Merci Bon Dieu and received Tony and Drama Desk Award nominations, Fools, The Front Page, A Flea in Her Ear, and Victor Victoria. Shull's screen credits span 30 films, including The Anderson Tapes, 1971, Clute, 1971, Slither, 1973, The Fortune, 1975, Splash, 1984, Garbo Talks, 1984, Unfaithfully Yours, 1984, House Sitter, 1992, and Private Parts, 1997. He also appeared as the judge in Billy Joel's music video for Keeping the Faith, 1984, and as the delivery man in the Tales from the Dark Side episode Do Not Open This Box, 1988. In 1963, Richard became a member of the historic theater club The Lambs, serving on its council and remaining a member until his death. As a writer, Shull penned the 1960 play Fenton's Folly, which was adapted into the German independent film Fenton's Völlig verrückte Erfindung, 1967. He also wrote the story for the 1966 thriller film Aroused and co-authored the dramatic film Pamela, Pamela You Are, 1968, with William L. Rose. On October 14, 1999, Shull passed away from a heart attack at his home in New York City at the age of 70. At the time, he had been performing in the Broadway play Epic Proportions. He was laid to rest at Kensico Cemetery in Valhalla, Westchester County, New York. Shull was an invested member of the Baker Street Irregulars, the literary society dedicated to Sherlock Holmes. He received his investiture, an actor and a rare one, in 1986. Shull was also a member of the Players Club in New York and the Sons of the Revolution in the state of New York. Ray Milland as Stephen Harrison Edwards. Ray Milland portrayed Stephen Harrison Edwards in the series. His first film appearance was as an uncredited extra in E.A. DuPont's Piccadilly, 1929. After some unproductive extra work that never made it to the screen, he signed with talent agent Frank Zeitlin, recommended by fellow actor Jack Rain. His skill as a marksman earned him extra work at the British International Pictures Studio in Arthur Robison's The Informer. 1929, the first screen adaptation of Liam O'Flaherty's novel. While working on The Informer, he was asked to audition for a production being shot on a neighboring stage. Milland made a favorable impression on director Castleton Knight and was cast in his first acting role as Jim Edwards in The Flying Scotsman, 1929. In his autobiography, Milland recalls that it was on this film set that he was advised to adopt a stage name. He chose Milland from the Mill Lands area of his Welsh hometown, Neath. He had top billing in The Attic, 1980, but usually played supporting roles in TV movies like The Dream Merchants, 1980, Our Family Business, 1981, The Royal Romance of Charles and Diana, 1982, Starflight, The Plane That Couldn't Land, 1983, Cave In, 1983, and The Masks of Death, 1984, a Sherlock Holmes adventure starring Peter Cushing and John Mills. His last appearances were in The Sea Serpent, 1985, and The Gold Key, 1985, the latter being a mystery made specifically for video. Milland was married to Muriel Frances Weber from September 30, 1932, until his death on March 10, 1986. They had one biological son and one adopted daughter. Their son Daniel appeared in several minor acting roles in the 1960s and died of an apparent suicide in March 1981 at the age of 41. Milland passed away from lung cancer at the Torrance Memorial Medical Center in Torrance, California on March 10, 1986, at the age of 79. Andrew Robinson as Mick Steele. Andrew Robinson played Mick Steele in the series. Robinson began his career as a stage actor and playwright in New York, with his debut role in the play Macbird. He later performed in productions across North America and Europe, including Wojciech, Fuchs, Werner Leopold's The Young Master Dante, and The Cannibals. In 1969, at the age of 26, he made his television debut with a guest appearance on NYPD. He started appearing in feature films in 1971. In 1993, Robinson secured his first regular television role since Ryan's Hope in 1978, portraying Elim Garak on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Garak was a Cardassian tailor and former operative of the Obsidian Order, designed to be a darkly comedic counterpart to Julian Bashir, played by Alexander Siddig. Although Robinson was unfamiliar with the Star Trek franchise and had never watched any of the series before being cast, he was offered the role of Garak after initially auditioning for Odo, a part eventually given to René Auberjonois. He hesitated to accept the role, but ultimately did so for financial reasons. After several years on Deep Space Nine, Robinson transitioned to television directing, beginning with the 1996 episode Looking for Parmac in All the Wrong Places. He went on to direct 2 episodes of Star Trek, Voyager, and 7 episodes of the courtroom drama Judging Amy, in which his daughter, Rachel Robinson, also appeared. In 2000, Robinson wrote the novel A Stitch in Time, based on his Deep Space Nine character, seeking to provide total closure for the character. He also appeared opposite DS9 co-star Michael Dorn in an episode of Martial Law. Additionally, Robinson was a founding member of the Matrix Theater Company in Los Angeles, California, established in 1993. James Luisi as Damian Troy. James Luisi played Damian Troy in the series. He trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and appeared on Broadway in productions such as Alfie, Do I Hear a Waltz, and the original 1966 staging of Sweet Charity. In 1976, Luisi made a guest appearance as a dubious businessman in a Season 2 episode of The Rockford Files. In the following season, he took on the role of Lieutenant Doug Chapman, a high-ranking, irritable police officer who has conflicts with the main character played by James Garner. Luisi portrayed Chapman in 23 episodes throughout the show's 6-year run and reprised the role in 2 Rockford TV movies in 1996. In 1976, Luisi won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Actor in a daytime drama special for his role as George Washington in the 1975 miniseries First Lady's Diaries, Martha Washington. That year, he also appeared in an episode of The Mary Tyler Moore Show titled Sue Ann Falls in Love. He continued to make guest appearances in shows like Starsky and Hutch, Black Sheep Squadron, Hunter in 2 episodes, Wonder Woman, Fantasy Island, Quincy, M.E., and Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Throughout the 1980s, Luisi featured in numerous popular TV series including Chips, Vega, Heart to Heart in 2 episodes, The A-Team, Knight Rider, T.J. Hooker, Matt Houston, The Fall Guy, Simon and Simon, Magnum, P.I., Knots Landing, appearing in 4 episodes as the same character, and It's a Living. He also played Ben Clark in 23 episodes of the soap opera Santa Barbara during 1987 and 1988, and from 1987 to 1992, he appeared as Duke Earl Johnson in 21 episodes of Days of Our Lives. Luisi passed away from cancer in 2002 at the age of 73. He was survived by his wife of 41 years, Georgia Phillips, his daughter Jamie Swartz, his brother Jerry Luisi, and 2 grandchildren. He was laid to rest at Pierce Brothers Valhalla Memorial Park in Los Angeles. Ron Moody as Charles Thompson. Ron Moody played Charles Thompson in the series. Although he initially trained to be an economist, Moody shifted his focus to acting after starting to perform in theatrical productions. While he worked across various genres, he is most renowned for his role as Fagin in Lionel Bart's stage and film musical Oliver, which is based on Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist. Moody originated the role in the West End production in 1960 and reprised it in the 1984 Broadway revival, earning a Tony Award nomination for Best Actor in a Musical. For his portrayal in the 1968 film adaptation of Oliver, he won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy, received the Best Actor Award at the 6th Moscow International Film Festival, and earned an Academy Award nomination in the same category. In 2004, the British ITV1 nostalgia series After They Were Famous aired a documentary featuring the surviving cast of Oliver. The documentary included reenactments of several of the film's musical numbers. Moody, then 80 but still energetic, and Jack Wilde, who was seriously ill with oral cancer at the time, recreated their dance from the film's closing credits. Moody also appeared in an episode of BBC One's Casualty on January 30, 2010, portraying a Scottish patient who had served with the Black Watch during World War II. On June 30, 2010, Moody made a guest appearance at the end of a performance of Cameron Mackintosh's revival of Oliver, where he delivered a humorous speech celebrating the show's 50th anniversary and joined the cast in performing Pick a Pocket or Two. Moody was a supporter of Tottenham Hotspur FC. Moody married Pilates instructor Therese Blackburn in 1985, and they had 6 children. He passed away from natural causes in a London hospital on June 11, 2015, at the age of 91. Dana Kimmel. Dana Kimmel played Maureen Tucker in the series. Born to Dolores and W. Dane Kimmel, Dana grew up in Kingsburg, California, and attended primary school there before her family relocated to Center, Texas. In 1974, she was one of 8 girls chosen from a pool of 20,000 by Teen magazine to model in Hollywood for a week. The next year, she returned for a cover shoot and graduated as valedictorian from Bullard High School in Fresno in 1977. Kimmel signed with Nina Blanchard's modeling agency and pursued acting locally through talent shows and school and church-related programs. After graduation, she secured an agent and made her professional acting debut on the television series Charlie's Angels in 1977. Kimmel had reservations about some unnecessary sex scenes, but appreciated the film, noting that it's by no means a cheap horror film, and considering her role a good part. The film achieved significant success, earning over $34 million worldwide. Her final theatrical role was as Sally McQuaid, the daughter of Chuck Norris's character, in Lone Wolf McQuaid, 1983, which was also a box office hit. Kimmel regarded her role in Sweet 16 as her favorite among her 3 films. Kimmel's most notable television role was Dawn Marshall, the youngest daughter in the affluent Marshall family of Houston on the NBC soap opera Texas, where she appeared in 51 episodes. She was cast as Dawn in early 1980 and first portrayed the character on an episode of Another World in 1980. Kimmel left the show when it was renewed for a second season. She is married with 4 children, though her eldest son, Cody, passed away in 2021. Kimmel is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Stepfanie Powers as Jennifer Hart. Jennifer Hart was an independent journalist who became an amateur sleuth. She was married to Jonathan Hart, a self-made millionaire. They resided in a spacious ranch-style home in Los Angeles, California, along with their caretaker Max and their dog Freeway. The Harts spent years traveling around the world to investigate murders and solve various mysteries. In 1961, under the stage name Taffy Paul, Powers appeared in Tom Laughlin's independent film The Young Sinner, which came out in 1965. During the early 1960s, she took on supporting roles in several films, including Experiment in Terror, 1962, If a Man Answers, 1962, and McClintock, 1963. She portrayed a schoolgirl in Tammy Tell Me True, 1961, and Bunny the police chief's daughter in Palm Springs Weekend, 1963. Powers was also featured in the hospital drama The Interns, 1962, and its sequel, The New Interns, 1964. In 1965, she starred alongside Tallulah Bankhead in Die Die, My Darling, known as Fanatic in the UK. In May 2018, the Cambridge Arts Theatre revealed the cast for the UK stage tour of James Ruse Evans's adaptation of Helene Hanff's novel 84 Charing Cross Road, in collaboration with Lee Dean and Salisbury Playhouse. First published in 1970, 84 Charing Cross Road is a poignant comedy that chronicles the remarkable 20-year correspondence between New York writer Hanff and Frank Dole, the chief buyer at the London bookshop Marks & Co. In November 2008, Powers, who had been a smoker for 2 decades, was diagnosed with alveolar cell carcinoma, a type of lung cancer. She underwent surgery to remove part of her right lung on January 29, 2009, the same month her mother passed away from pneumonia at the age of 96 in Los Angeles. That was an incredible look back at the lives of the Heart to Heart cast. It's truly sorrowful to witness how time has affected these remarkable people who once brought so much joy and thrill to our screens. Until we meet again, take care and hold on to the memories of those who have entertained us. Goodbye.